am on this growth trajectory. So we're right in the middle between going from that 500K to the 1 million, 2 million conversation, right in the middle of talking to the Walmarts, dealing with the Lowe's. We have the strategy, we have the people in place, but we haven't executed on it.
How many are you selling per week?
Probably about 500 of those. Of course, there's a bunch of tentacles in the air and balls that we're juggling, but I still feel like people are still asking, how come I haven't heard about you?
How many orders would you need to have multiplied by what profit margin in order for you to be able to bring in someone else to do this? It's not that I don't think you can do the work. It's that I think that your genius is in what you've already created. The more you can be the face of that, the better for your company. I think that you could crank up your sales. Like, your sales are incredible already. 500 a month, that's incredible. So what I think you should do, and I think we can implement this pretty fast, I think you should have tell me right now, if you had to summarize where you are and where you'd like to be.
I am on this growth trajectory. So we've gotten a lot of local press and a lot of, NASDAQ program and Goldman Sachs and all these networking and opportunities to grow our business. So we're right in the middle between going from that 500K to the 1 million, 2 million conversation, right in the middle of talking to the Walmarts, dealing with the Lowe's, and doing what's our commission, 30 points or 20 points, and negotiating pricing, and also exposure and creating this marketing opportunity. So we have the strategy, we have the people in place, but we haven't executed on it. So I feel, of course, there's a bunch of tentacles in the air and balls that we're juggling, but I still feel like people are still asking, how come I haven't heard about you? Or they will mention our competition and they'll go oh, have you heard of? And the competition that everybody's heard of is because they've put 100,000 or more just into advertising and sponsored ads, and you can see them just really infiltrating, whereas we're just now executing our marketing strategy, which is advertising on Google, advertising on our Walmart marketplace, doing the TV promotions where we're on Channel 2, Channel 4, doing all the local stations and being in the business journals and the Ladue News and doing all of these national and local PR, but we're still not at the point where people know who we are. They can go here. We're at top of mind when it comes to CPG and direct to consumer. So yeah, that's where we are. And then on the B2B side, because we do branding with universities and we can put company logos on and do gifting and things like that, we want them to think of us as top of mind when they're doing different branding things and wanting to upscale their office spaces and things like that.
Okay. Oh, the competition that you're talking about, how are they like you and how are they not like you?
So they're like us and they do self-watering planters, but they are a plant company and they've concealed how they are watering the plant, which is very simple. Like all the other planters, they put a string that absorbs and wicks the water up through the string. But ours isn't like that. We use more just our engineering technology and how the pot is created. So it has the drainage and aeration and all of that, and it doesn't use the string or an external piece to give that look. And we also do the whole 3D printing. So it's corn-based, it's lightweight, and you can use 10 times more water in the reservoir, and then it'll grow your plants more. But theirs is very faulty, meaning it breaks down and the pot breaks apart and things like that. And ours doesn't do that because it's a one-piece system. So it's a pot within a pot and it's all fused together.
You seem to know how much money they're spending on advertising. Why do you know that?
Because I see them sponsored and I know how much it costs to sponsor across a 30-day ad because I'm watching my competition, and they're across all the Meta, they're advertising across YouTube, and they're really infiltrating the space, even on Google Ads. I type in my product and they're already trying to like trend above my Google ads. And when they first came on, they did price matching against my planners. They did this color palette and scheme against the same ones that I was doing because I was there first. And then they just took off being in those sponsored ad spaces.
What kind of founders do they have? Like, are they other Black women?
They're operating out of Florida, but they are an Israeli company. So you can see their own buy and things like that. And it feels like it was a individual lady that got, like funded, some investor came in and.
Okay. Can I make an observation?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. My observation is I really love that you know your competition because a lot of founders do not. And it's important that you do and that you respect your competition, meaning you respect that they can overtake you, that kind of thing. I feel like there's a little bit of bitterness when it comes to them because they seem bigger, more funded, more out there. I think that bitterness may impede your growth because it's time spent elsewhere. And I asked you about it. So I'm not like saying that you did anything wrong. I'm just saying before I can tell you the tactical stuff, because that part we can do. It's easy. I want you to get into like take it to another gear mentally. I have a painting by a Black artist in LA. She's naked, but she's covered by a book and she's sitting on her lounge and the book says vibrate higher. And I have it right in front of me every day to like, we're coming up here.
Yes.
We're coming up here. And the good thing is that you have competition. Let me tell you why. And let me tell you why it's so good that you know them so well. Because a year from now, when you are surpassing them in sales, in name recognition, et cetera, the foundation of the story will be important to juxtapose. So you'll be able to say, a year ago, they had this, that, and the other. But you can't vibrate higher if you're stuck about they got all this stuff. They got all the stuff. They caught a break. They caught a break. Cool. Let them catch that break. I wish them well. I hope they do very well. Because it helps to establish the ecosystem. It's like, oh, it's literally the landscape. Well, do you have any thoughts there? Anything that you want to push back on?
No, I completely agree with you because my friend, when they first came out, my friend sent me their commercial and he's like, you need to sue them. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I'm like, no. It's good because they're building this, everything you said, they're building this landscape and people are leaning into self-watering and water once a month and I can have my things and not kill them. And you're right about that bitterness piece because they literally watched me and they literally copied. Yeah.
Well, so that it sounds serious. It sounds like I remember you have patents, you have IP.
Yes.
So are they infringing on your patents at all?
No.
Okay.
They aren't.
Then let them copy because they can copy, but they cannot replicate. They cannot be you. They cannot ever be you.
Yeah.
And so they're going to seem so small in retrospect. It's going to be like a little gnat, a little thing that was bothering you. Like, oh, that flies in my face.
I know. Right?
So let's speed up that point because that's going to get you further faster.
Yes.
So we're going to go. Yes.
Because, and they also did the whole Black woman thing.
What they do?
They shot all the commercials with a Black lady there.
Yeah.
They leaned into the whole look and feel and vibe.
Let me tell you, that is happening to me right now with one of my companies. And it feels so trash. It feels so bad because now you're playing with my audience. Now you're playing with my potential audience who may think that you're me or think that you are legit. So I get that. What do we do though? What am I doing? I haven't thought about them in days.
I love it.
I'm not saying I'm not petty. I went around, but I did something that was like 7-dimensional chess when I saw them playing checkers.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was playing nice, So let's break down what that is, what actually happened, or what you actually need then. Everybody wants money. And I always find a way to do stuff without money. What do we want the money for? You want the money for more exposure to more people. Like how many of your pieces can you make in a week?
We can make 2,000 pieces in a week.
How much are they? Do you have one you can hold up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Show it to me again and then hold it up.
Let me back up a little bit. Background.
Yeah.
Oh, let me.
I think I put it next to your face because it's okay. So it's like that, like the one right behind it. And it's not too heavy, right? It's has a little thing. Okay. And then turn it on the side, so on the bottom so we can see if there's anything different about it? Okay, so it has this like shape to it.
Yes.
What is it that's making it
So
self-watering?
on the inside, there's like this aeration and drainage, and like there's holes, and there's like this back piece, and there's like drainage. So your plant is suspended in air. And then there's this
Oh.
large reservoir on the bottom. The plant is only pulling up what the root system is calling for. So it's alive just like we are. And when it vibes for the water, and it'll send out signals that's actually wicking using the plant's natural biology.
So where does the water go then? If it's hanging in the air, is the water falling on the ground?
The bottom is closed up. So this entire section that's here is all water.
Okay, so it's water and then it goes back and it keeps
Yes.
doing this. What about that hole in the back? Does that hole ever leak or is that just like for
No,
air?
that's like a fail safe. If someone comes and overwaters your plant, then it's gonna come out of the.
Oh,
Mhm.
interesting. So you pour, let me explain it to me like a customer or a potential customer.
So you're gonna put 2 cups of water in once a month. You're gonna put your dirt in, put your plant on top, and then put 2 cups of water in through this feeding tube. It's gonna, or you can just pour it right on top. It's gonna drain down to the bottom and keep for 30 days. As your plant is thirsty over those 30 days, it's gonna wick up using the plant's natural root system and grow your plants 10 times more.
So this is your creation, correct?
Yes,
So it's your IP. You have this patented.
yes, I do.
Okay. And then the machine that you use to actually create them, you don't have to send this off to another country or somewhere else to be made and wait on tariffs and all that. Although I'm wondering where the materials come from.
Yes.
You make this in your lab.
Yeah, we have a print farm and we have another facility, and these are all printers from the top to the bottom. And then we have our own material where you can do any color you want all the way
Oh.
down. And then we have another, all four of these are just filled with prints and material.
Okay, let's talk about this then. You personally know how to work those machines.
Yes. So I have 20 years mechanical engineering from Boeing and Northrop Grumman, and I built the Amazon that we see today. So I understand pick, pack, flow, all of everything for the final mile to get your product to your customer.
What do you mean you built the Amazon that we see today? What does that mean?
So that means that in like 2014, as they were building all the Amazon, so like St. Louis didn't have an Amazon fulfillment center, Chicago, Indianapolis, Tampa didn't have one, Canada didn't have one. So there was a team of like 10 project executive engineers, and we went around and put up the sortation centers, built these 1,000,000 square foot facilities, and put like TVs on the docks, robotics, automation, optics. So
Oh,
yeah, so all of
so you know all that from, you said pick and what'd you call it?
pick, pack, and stow. So you go on Amazon and you go, I want this boat and this DVD and this lotion. The order goes to through the system and it says the TVs are over here, the boats are over there, and the lotion is over here. And it does a pick pack. And then you're
Mm.
able to put all of that into the boxes, make sure that, and then it goes down a sortation center through a 1,000,000 square foot facility that your package is moving through this facility. And then we would do like different improvements, like put a QR code on the package. And as it's coming down, put lasers and robotics and make it go faster, cheaper, more expensive. And then the trucks come on the dock, then make it red, green, tell the operators how much time they have to put that particular package inside of this particular truck. And then we know down to the second where each package is within that box, within that truck, within this system.
Were you working for Amazon directly or for a company that was building this for Amazon?
Amazon directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have 20 years experience. You have all these 3D printing machines and all kinds of die cut things. And you're making that happen. You can make 2,000 of your invention you can produce that every single week. How much are you doing today? How many of them are you producing today with today's marketing?
So with today's marketing, that's the 2000. So I have a whole nother room with just inventory that I've gotten ahead of that particular inventory. So that's what we can do today.
Well, let me ask, I'm going to ask it a different way. I'm asking you, how many are you selling per week?
Per week, we are selling probably about 500 of those.
Definitely dial in on those numbers, because as you grow, you need to know those numbers like the back of your hand.
Okay.
Like those numbers. Do you have somebody who is like your numbers person?
No, I don't. I actually am doing the production and the numbers and all of that. So yeah.
When can you bring somebody in to co-work on this with you as far as that?
I am actively looking for someone right now. We actually, of course, working with interns and things like that, but I just had a graduate from Georgetown University who's doing a sabbatical right now, and then he's going to come on with us in June. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, sabbatical.
I know,
okay.
right?
Okay. So the reason I'm asking that is because I do a lot of math, right? And my math is, how many orders would you need to have multiplied by what profit margin in order for you to be able to bring in someone else to do this?
Ooh, I love that.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to do, but not just because it's going to give you more peace of mind and more time to yourself, but because it'll make your company better and it'll make your company grow. Just like that plant, So we got to say, what do we need to water? I don't want to be too corny, but how do we water it? How do we get it to grow? Because you have all the ingredients here. Tell me how much each of these costs. And let me be clear. It's not that I don't think you can do the work. It's that I think that your genius is in what you've already created. And if the more you can be the face of that and get that word out, which we're going to talk about in a moment, the better for your company. I know you're quite capable. You have proven that. But it's just the stuff of like, I can look at it and I can oversee it. And I know when someone's doing me wrong, but I don't need to be doing that day to day. That's where I want to get you.
Yes. Everything you said. Wow. So I have built out this, how many do you need to sell and, all of that in order to get to that $1 million moment. It's pretty much, this is like month 1, month 2, but like on average, it's about that 500 planners that we need to send out. We are at the 500,000 mark right now.
500 per month is what you're saying your current is?
Yes.
And you're also saying that that's about 500K in revenue top line per year. Is that correct?
Yes.
If you were to multiply that by 12?
Yes.
Okay. How much do they cost each?
The small one that I showed you costs 25.
Okay.
And then the big one is 50.
And which do they sell equally? Does one sell more than the other?
The small one is like 70%.
Okay.
And the big one is 30.
Let's just say that you have an average of $32 per order and you're selling 500 per month, and that's 12 months. You're at 200,000 per year right now.
Okay.
Based on what you're saying to me.
Based on what I'm saying.
Because what sounds like your 500 may be coming from your bulk orders and your corporate orders.
The B2B and because what I show you is just the direct to consumer.
Oh, okay. So let's just talk about the direct to consumer just for now, just for this moment.
Okay.
So right now in your direct to consumer business, you're doing about 200,000 run rate per year. Yes. And you're growing. It sounds like you're growing. Okay. Yes. So 200,000 run rate. And then you have a B2B version. We're going to hold off on that. That's making another 300K a year, but we're going to hold off on that one just for this conversation. Okay. So then you can do 4 times this on the consumer side.
In the future. Or right now?
I'm saying, are you capable of doing that today? Because you just told me that you can do 2,000. Okay.
Yes.
So you could do, I'm just saying what you could do. I'm not trying to get you there. I'm saying for me to understand, if tomorrow Oprah said, this is one of my favorite things, you could sell 2,000 and be okay because you have the ability to.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Okay. So then you have the 2,000, you're at 500. So one goal is to get to the 2,000. And then that would have you at around 800,000 a year. You probably could, I know for sure you could. Here's another thing I think you can do. There's a marketing, top of funnel, and then there's this actual sales conversion that I think you can do.
Mhm.
Before I tell you what I think it is, tell me the average order size for somebody. Like, are they buying one? Are they buying a couple?
They're buying a couple. They're buying about two.
So what I think you should do, and I think we can implement this pretty fast. I think you should have a funnel, a sales
Okay.
funnel, rather than just a straightforward website. Okay, so this isn't the thing that we have to do absolutely immediately,
Okay.
but it's something that I think if you do it, it will make your, let's say your average sale cart, and I think you know this, I'm sure you have it on your Shopify or something, but let's just imagine that it's 1.5. Like every time somebody buys it, they buy 1.5 on average. A sales funnel could get them to 2.5, which would get you to your 2,000 faster. And then it would also take fewer people buying, which means that your
Mm.
marketing would go further.
Okay.
And then what it would do is beyond the 2000, it would skyrocket it beyond the 2000 once we figure out. But that's a good problem to have that we'll worry about later. So this is just a quick example of a funnel. This is using ClickFunnels. They have a video about it, which you would have a very nice video here. You would have a picture of it. What makes it different is like you put your name in. They're saying, okay, send me the thing. And this may be like a free one, but yours would be paid. So here you would say, okay, I want my small or large. And then here would say, hey, do you want to upgrade and get two for this discount? And so many people, like 10, 20, 30% of the people will click here and say, yep, because I
Mm.
see a great deal that's happening right now. And then even beyond this, I'm not going to do it because it will charge me, but even beyond that, you can go to the next page and it may give you another video and visual and like say, look, I'm making this in my studio here. I know you've already picked up yours. Do you want to make sure that you have one for a friend? Let me give you the three-pack version. This three-pack version is everything you're going to need for the entire season, da 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 da, right? So it's just a psychological fun thing for people. And you get to see like, oh, my average cart value is higher, is different. So that's one thing. But before we even do that, it sounds like you have all of like your logistics set up. Like people are getting their items on time, right? Like they
Mhm.
order it,
Yes.
they can pick their color, they get that in the mail and they're excited, right?
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
have testimonials on video?
Yes.
People? Where do you house those testimonials?
Um, I usually collect them and just redistribute them back into like Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook into Meta. And
Yeah.
I think I did one where there was like three different, like one plant person, one traveler, another was is like a scientist, and they were like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
this is amazing!"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what I suggest is what is your current best converting platform?
Probably the newsletters. It's almost like probably about 2,500 people, subscribers.
Yeah.
And I send out a newsletter and they read it and they click the link and then they share it and they click and then they buy it. They go, "Oh, I saw you
Yeah.
here." And I usually will attach like some media newsreel that we did or some like news article like, "Hey, read what STL made," or the Ladue News has talked about us. And then they're like, "Oh, this is awesome."
What is that on? Kit or something?
We use Wix and they
To
have like
send
a
email?
uh-huh.
Oh,
And they have
okay.
like a marketing
Yeah.
manager inside of their platform.
Okay, so I'm going to make a couple suggestions. One is that you look into Substack. What I could see you doing is instead of only having like advertising emails, is you have like a weekly
Yeah.
horticulture newsletter that just talks about the news and the latest inventions and the latest innovations and your thoughts on things. And you are your own sponsor of that
Mhm.
newsletter. So you're always putting your stuff, like people are getting something from it. That way, those 2,500 people don't go stale because they're just seeing the same thing over and over again. They're seeing like, oh, this is actually helpful to me and
Okay.
it's exciting. And then on top of that, I would say top of funnel to get people into that newsletter, I would suggest YouTube. I would
Okay.
suggest LinkedIn and the Instagrams and all the TikToks, all of that you're doing, all of that works because it's a physical item that's also very intriguing. So I don't know where you stand right now on TikTok and do you do TikTok? Do you do Instagram?
I do Instagram a lot more than TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
TikTok, I have a platform, I have a store, they're able to buy there, but I haven't been able to create this like kind of rah.
Momentum. Yeah,
Like,
I think
yeah,
it's a very particular site for physical objects. I never send people there for education because it does not convert
okay,
as far as I'm concerned. I know some people who do convert on it, but with physical products, I see that there's a lot of potential there. I think that there are a lot of things we can do and we could do this. And I think though, right now, YouTube, Instagram, maybe even Facebook if you're on Facebook, but like these things that are kind of tried and true,
okay,
LinkedIn, YouTube, those are the ones where you're going to make a decision. And it may not be that you have to make this decision. You can actually do both. But in the description of your YouTube channel, and I've, blown up on YouTube when it comes to like how many people are watching now as compared to a year ago. So I kind of know that behavior of theirs. You don't want to have too many links in the
okay,
description. You want to have a very clear call to action. One would be perfect. Two is okay. And then three, you get into rough territory. And a lot of people do 3, 5, 6, 10. I would say what you could do is you could have your very first link above the fold, above before they have to say more, is get the posy pot. See, we haven't said it all this time. I think that needs to be somebody's always in their head. So get the
yes,
posy pot, and it's a link directly into your website, or if we create that funnel, either way, that's going to be gold because somebody's going to see that visual and they're going to go right into buying mode. And then
okay,
right under it with the space in between, you could then say, join the Posy Pot newsletter or join your newsletter, like the K Wells newsletter, about XYZ. So you could have both for the people who are impulse buyers and like, all I need to see was that video. That's amazing. And for the people who
okay,
are like, actually, you know what? I want to spend some more time with you before I decide. So then you're nurturing them through this weekly thing. And Substack itself is interesting. I wouldn't charge for the Substack. Sometimes you can do it like a subscription charge. I would do it for free. And
okay,
just put your link to things, like I said, be your own sponsor. And you can do it kind of organically. Like you're talking about something, you put a little link on a word that takes you into, when we do our Posy Pots, this is how we have used this 3D machine. Like it's just kind of like a conversation you're having.
okay,
And then you have that YouTube, and we were talking about YouTube in depth. You have a YouTube channel. I've seen your videos. They're very cool, but I think there's more intention. There's more packaging that can be done when it comes to
okay,
those thumbnails, when it comes to those titles, when it comes to what the video is about to hold retention, your hook. There's a bunch of stuff that
okay.
I think we can work on together. What I would like to do is, I don't know if you've picked up on this or not, but our conversation was just for us to catch up.
Yes.
I very quickly caught on that we need to record this and have this as a YouTube video so I can use my audience reach to bring more people in to know what you're doing because they need to know you. They need to know you exist.
Okay.
And I think that they need the Posy Pot. I need the Posy Pot. It's so cool on so many different levels. So I think what we do is we kick off by having you appear on my channel. We
Okay.
can put the link to your store in the description below. And we also work on your channel. So we get you a
Okay.
new banner. We get you some new thumbnails. We get those right titles. And we figure out that actual content that on YouTube is going to resonate. And I think what it is similar to what you did just now, which is you're walking people around and showing them things and like having this corner. I think when we met in person in March at South by, I said I could see you doing like a kid show, or not
Yes.
even a kid show, like an adult show, like where you're just
Yes.
teaching people about this stuff. It's like
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff you could teach them about.
I
So
love it.
yeah,
I
I
just
think,
had someone ask me, they were like, can I go somewhere to learn? Will you teach me? And I'm like, okay, okay. I can.
yeah, I mean, let me tell you what I believe is true. I believe that if you were to spend the next 3 months, and I usually tell people a year, I think
Mm-hmm.
if you were to spend the next 3 months, like the summer,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you could crank up your sales. Like your sales are incredible already. 500 a month, that's
Yeah.
incredible. I think you could crank that up. And I'm
Okay.
not going to predict by what measure, but I think that you could crank it up. I think you would see a difference between June 1st and September 1st if
Mm-hmm.
you were to if the only thing you did was to start on YouTube in a very specific way. And then I think there's this other stuff we can leverage, like the Substack or the newsletter, and also the funnel, the sales funnel, which on average is like a 2.5 sales, purchase that is normal for. I think that would be really, really interesting to do. What I want to do is help you. I told you that when we met. Like, I just want to help because I think there's something really special here, and I'm going to definitely get my posy pot. Can I get it in purple?
Absolutely. Yes, you can.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking around. I'm like, I know I just did some purples. We got 2 different types of purple.
Yeah.
So much. We
I
got
mean,
the metallic and we got the
oh,
deep
I love
matte.
both of those. I
Yes.
love both of those. What a beautiful purple too. And not just a purple, it's a beautiful purple.
Thank you.
And you said that you can do logos for people for their company. So what's
Yeah.
the minimum size for that order
So the minimum size is 10
for the B2B
for
order?
the B2B orders. And so this is where he's doing his own
Oh,
farming, and you can get as much detail in there as you need to.
oh my goodness. Here's another idea I have. Today, how do people order that from you?
Today we have a custom orders page, landing page across our top. I
Can
just
you,
built an app.
yeah, can you show me? Can you show me either of those on
Yes.
screen? Your bulk orders are doing even better than your consumer
They
orders.
are, because we do have that minimum quantity, and people usually actually order more than the 10, which is the minimum that we have. They usually do like 20, 25, something like that, because they're giving them away as gifts. And
Yeah.
that one in particular went to a building construction. So then this is elevate your custom planners. Then you come here and you choose your design, the square or the round one.
Hmm.
And then you come in and you give all of your information here, and you pick your color, whichever, color, if you have a particular, CY or a palette.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
green one was a particular green that he
Hmm.
wanted us to color match for their like planners. And then you can do the small one, medium, large, and then again with the minimum quantity 10, give us your logo, and then submit it.
And how long does that take to come back?
So we usually ask them to give us 2 weeks so that we
Okay.
can print. I mean, we have the machines, but we want to do the design, their custom design logo, which needs the engineering design to go in and to be built up against it. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, production and delivery.
And people can do this for gifts, or they can resell it under their logo, or they can have it as part of their like offer. You get this as part of like a gift when you join my other thing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's really good. How much does that cost?
So 125 for the design change. And
Yep.
then they just pay the 20 to $50 for the pod. And usually it's corporate folks who are like, yes, we want to have this, just give it to us.
Yeah, and it's also I don't see it just being corporate folks. I mean, that's you're talking about $500 to have an incredible. You know what I see is this summer I see family reunions. Because you
Ooh.
talk about the tree and plants are a very big staple of family reunion
Yeah.
art on their t-shirts, etc. I could see this being your family crest. You have your
Ooh.
family crest. Now, you go over to England and other places,
Mhm.
and they have their family crest. And I'm like, I want one, right? So what
Yeah.
you could have that. You might even want to put a family crest creator with the way AI is on your site. Because if
I
you,
love it.
yeah, if you gave me that, I'd be like, okay, let me make something cute. And then I would be the hero to the family, that would be really
Yes, you
cute.
would.
Everybody would have it in their house. And then when you send it to everybody in their house, is the website imprinted on it, or is there anything, or is it all white label?
So yes, on the back side, we do put the posy pot right
Good,
above the drain hole part. And we
good.
let the front be their main, and then we still
Love it.
always put ours on the back.
Yeah, because that's going to be that referral is going to go. Because the more you do, if you have 10, 20, 50,000 of these out into the world, you're going to
Mhm.
start seeing referrals. It's going to start really surprising you, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's
That's
so
so
much.
amazing. And you know what? We do get the international requests. Someone from Sussex University, and they
Yeah.
were like, we want our children to grow as we grow. And so she's like, this will be amazing. And
Yeah, I could see it as a
yeah.
graduation thing. I could see it as a
Mhm.
very a very high-end gift to a group if you're doing a big conference. If you have
Mhm.
certain people who bought certain tickets to that conference, they each get this. Now, you showed me a couple, and like those sizes work for my, like I have a place where I don't want to have these huge
Yes.
things going. Another thing you could do on YouTube is not just showing the mechanical side and the engineering side, which is incredibly impressive, but
Mhm.
showing like how do you use the posy? What
Yeah.
plants can you put in there? How can
Yeah.
you grow things? How can you do this with your children or give your children a project to do? Like I
Yeah.
can see that being really big because I'm thinking about the pot. I have a couple of pots around here. What comes to mind first for me is like going back to when I was a child and getting those seeds from the store and
Yeah.
just making stuff and just watching stuff grow and seeing,
Love
for your
it.
science project. So if you could give that world of wonder too, it
Mhm.
could be where you not only supply this, but I don't know how easy it is to send plants or send seeds in the mail. I think that might get a
Yeah.
little tricky FDA wise, but maybe you could partner with someone who has their own packs of seeds. It's almost like you have these magic beans,
I
It
love
makes
it.
it fun. I also see you doing, if you think about half of the Pixar movies and half of these cartoons that come out, have some sort of plant or growing thing.
Yes.
Like I could see a major film studio or
Wow.
Hulu or television platform. I could see them saying, we want 1,000 of these for our next big, upfronts, or we want this for to promote the fact that this movie is coming out and we're going to have it in theaters all over the place because the movie is about
Yeah.
plants or something.
Plants
I
and growing. Wow. That's
yeah, I could
amazing.
see all of this. I mean, there's so much more that's going on in my head right now,
Thank
but I
you.
don't want to
I have to show you
distract
this
us.
one too, because I haven't shown you one with a plant inside. And this
Oh,
is see-through.
wow. And that's the
And when
big
I
one,
say
right?
grows your plants 10 times more, this one was dead. And do you see this little baby right here? This is a brand new plant just from watering it once a month. Yeah,
Oh, because there is
yeah.
a lot of science that's going on there
It's
because
so much
you're putting
science.
those 2 cups in once a month, depending on
Mm-hmm.
the, and it's irrigation. It's a whole system you've created.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very interesting. And I think anyone who is watching this definitely get one. Like, see what one is like in your home, and you can see the sizes, and maybe you'll order another one because you want the different colors. You want to gift it. Think about ways you can use this and gift this. Like,
Wow.
that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about like my mom, I'm thinking about my brother's separate
Mhm.
home, his kids. Like, I'm just thinking about how it could be so interesting. Definitely for mine. I'm gonna get one, more than one. Yeah, but I think there's a lot to it. So we have a plan. What I want
Yes.
everybody who's watching on my channel to do is to make a reminder to yourself that when Kay's YouTube videos drop, we're gonna support. We're gonna watch it all the way through. We're gonna send it off to our friends. And if you set up a Substack, let us know. If you set up a newsletter, let us know. And then the website right now is what's the address?
www.posiepot.com. POSIEPOT.com. Posy
And I'm
Pot.
and I'm going to put that in the description. You have the trademark on the name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking of, do you know the actress Parker Posey? Okay,
No.
so she is an actress who is like a really talented, I guess she's considered like a cult favorite indie actress type. Most of what she's done has been in the, 90s and the 2000s. And her name is Parker Posey. And
Okay.
I've always thought about that name. She also did a really great podcast where it was from Dick Wolf, who does all the Law and Orders. He
Yes.
did this podcast where she did the voice of it, and it was so, so good very recently. I wonder if she's somebody who could, her name is spelled differently, but I just think it's kind of cool. It'd be kind of funny to have her like with the plant gloves on and she's
Yeah.
doing something funny with it. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I could see those on a vertical, her having like a really interesting thing there. And I just want to make a note of that so I can think about it another time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get this video edited. I'll release it soon. We'll put the link in the description for whatever is live at the time. Then I would like to just work with you. So I think the way we do that is maybe we have another call. Let's have another call next week
Okay.
and we can strategize.
I love it. My heart is so full. I'm like this reminding me vibrate high.
So just send me a DM
Okay.
Or if that link that I gave you for this has some time next week, go ahead and book it. But if it doesn't, just send me a DM and I'll set you up.
All right. Will do. Thank you,
All
Arlan.
right. You're
That was
welcome. You're
amazing.
welcome. Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you.
Very
Have a
excited.
great day.
You too.